The new OP08 leader, Carrot, has a pretty unique ability that allows her to rest any opponent's lower end characters as long as you have a Mink on the field. But are the Minks archetypes strong enough right now to carry the deck? Let's talk about it. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. My name is Mobby, and today I'm going to be giving you my current OP08 Carrot deck list. This is one that I personally made, so it's probably not going to be complete meta ready, but nonetheless it should be fun to show you off and explain to you guys. So let's go ahead. We'll be talking about the leader itself, the utility, the events, the 2Ks, the blockers, the attackers, the overall playstyle, the pros and the cons. Let's get started. If you guys like the video, please like and subscribe. It helps out quite a lot. So let's begin with the leader. This is the alternate art English translated. If you guys are interested in how I make proxies, there's a link in the description to a full video with a complete breakdown of how I do things. So this is Carrot. Mono green, 5000 power, Minks. Activate once per turn. If you have a character with the Minks type in play, rest up to one of your opponent's 5 cost or less characters. So this is any Minks, it doesn't matter the cost, and you know, there's no extra thing. You just have to have a Mink on the field, then you activate this. It's pretty good, and yeah, you can totally destroy a lot of early game stuff, forcing the opponent to either counter out or lose things like the persistent searchers, or just early 3-cost characters, etc. So let's talk about the attackers first. And just so you guys know, this is a mix between the Minks and the Donquixote pirates, so it's almost half and half. There's like 60% Minks and 40% Donquixote, with a little bit of just extra cards that are kind of staple in green right now. So let's start with the attackers, starting off with the very high cost. This is Carrot. This is a 5/6/1 on play, and then later when attacking, up to one of your opponent's rested 7 or less characters do not become active during its owner's refresh phase. This is a very powerful stalling card. You get the effect right away and then later on attacking, so very persistent. Your opponent will want to get rid of this, especially because it goes up to a 7, which is very good. But you just got to remember, they not become active during the next refresh phase. They can still bring it back up if they have effects that let them do so. So running 4 of these carrots. Next, we're running some cat vipers here. This is 5/6/1, another Minks card, and also an Akazuya 9. On play, if your opponent has 7 or more rested cards, this character gains rush. This is the only rush card I'm using in this deck, and for good reason. It's pretty easy to get out at 5, and 7 costs more rested. This counts as any card that is essentially tapped on their side of the field, whether it be Dawn or their characters or even their leader. Attached Dawns don't count, but if they have like 5 rested and 5 rested, their leader is rested, and so is one of their characters, this guy gets the rush. So running 4 of these as a nice surprise card. Next up, we're running some Dog Storms. This is another new OP08 Minks card, 5/6/1. On play, if your leader is Minks, up to 2 of your opponent's rested 5 or lower characters cannot be set active. So pretty much the same as Carrot, except this thing is for 2 5 or lowers on rested, while this is 1/7. However, I think the Carrot's still much better because it is also one attacking, while this is a one-time thing. So running 3 of these, and of course your late game is going to be Donquixote, Don Flamingo, the 10-drop, 10/10. On play, up to a total of 3 of your opponent's rested leaders and characters will not become active during the next refresh phase. So pretty much these are all of your attackers, a bunch of 5 early mid games, and then you go straight into your late games with the Dofis here. Now for the blockers, we have 8 of here. So we have the Rosinantes, 1/2/1 blocker, and then on your opponent's turn, if one of your other rested characters would be KO'd, you can go ahead and simply trash this guy instead. Really good. Alright, Pedro, a Minks, and yeah, I messed up the the printing here, but who cares. 4/5/1 blocker, on KO, choose 1. Rest up to one of your opponent's Dons, or KO up to one of the rested 6 or lower characters. Once again, if you're running Minks, I think this is a staple to have 4 in there at this time. So running 8 of these, so lots of good stalling cards. Okay, time for the 2Ks. So we have a mix between some Donquixotes and some Minks. So we have some baby 5s, which the effect does not matter. It's only here for 2Ks and a searchable target. Next up, we have the new OP08 Milky 202. Activate main, rest this character, and then you can set up to one of your Dons as active as long as your leader is Minks. I think pretty much every 2K in this deck is only going to be, primarily is going to be only used for the counter. It's a thing, you can set it out, but honestly, you want to save it for the 2K, right? Next is Viola from Donquixote Pirates 332. When the opponent attacks, rest 2 of your Don to rest up to 1 of their Don. Not great unless you're actually playing the purple-green Dofi leader. And finally, some more Minks. Running 2 of these Carrots, 552. End of your turn, set up to 1 of your Don cards as active. If you absolutely necessary need another attacker off for some reason, you can just throw this one out. But once again, it's just another there for kind of balancing out the 2K searchers. So those are the 2Ks. Now for the event cards. We're running some of, because the side of justice will be whichever side wins, we're running a couple of these. It's always nice to do so because you're going to have some dead cards in your hand, and I'll talk about which ones are completely dead soon. So yeah, running with some of these. Now for the other new OP08 card, Electrical Luna. It's a Minks card. 3 cost. All of your opponent's rested characters with 7 or less won't be active during their next refresh phase. Yes, every single one of the rested 7 or lowest. It's pretty good, so we're running 2 of these. Now for the gigantic piece of the puzzle. You absolutely kind of want to always mulligan for these. In no way are these searchable right now because it's an animal card and not a Minx card, but still good. So 3 costs to activate it. Then you may rest the stage during your turn. If your leader has Minx, set up to 1 of your Don as active, which is very powerful on its own. However, the end of turn, set up to 1 of your Minx type characters as active. This is super good, and your best targets for that is going to be the Carrots because you need her to keep on attacking to stall things, and you can save some of your other guys. But also, it's very good for Pedro, who you want to be able to block, so you can activate his KO when you need to, but of course he can still attack, which is pretty good. So we're running 4 of these, and these are dead cards. After you've already played one, they're dead, which is why you want a lot of these cards to kind of make use of them. Alright, so those are all the event cards. Let's move on over to our utility cards. So the first one we're running is the Donquixote Pirate Searcher, Baby 5, 1/1/1, activate 1, rest 1 Don and this character to search up for a Donquixote Pirate card. So pretty much this is very powerful because she could search for herself and it doesn't matter, and it's multiple uses. So we have a lot of good blockers to keep her safe, etc. So with this card, you want to search for nothing but 2Ks, but as soon as you see a Donquixote, you grab it. There is not much else to search with that. Also, I guess you could search for these. These are pretty good too. So running 4 of these. And finally, the last card of the deck, the new OP08 Wanda Searcher. She's an on-play one, which is a one-time thing. Look at the top 5 cards, reel up to one Minx other than Wanda, and add it to your hand. So this is the deck, and this is kind of the play style of this deck. It's all about stalling, playing mid-game, and hopefully you can control the board long enough so you can have multiple Minks on the field, and if you get late game, hopefully you have searched or drawn a Dofi to help you win the game. Now, is it crazy powerful in removal? Not really. I mean, you do have her ability to rest an opponent's 5 or less, which is good because you can straight out keep attacking into them. But if you're attacking into them, you're not really attacking their leader. So it's not like one of the black decks where you can simply just remove a character off the field with 1 play. You have to rest and then attack, and hopefully it gets removed. Now, one thing that you could do with this deck is you can play a full Minx deck, and instead of using the Dofi Pirates, you can instead add other cards that help you KO rested characters specifically, like the Ryuma, where, you on play, he KOs like a 4-drop or something like that. You get an X-Drake on play, KOs a rested character. I've done a little bit of testing with that, but honestly, it's just not enough good Minx cards at the moment, especially for your late game. Like, the Minx, absolutely, unless you plan to win early, and there's not enough rush here, you need to play a secondary archetype here that I feel. So, Minx, Carrots, what's good about it, what's bad? Well, the current Minx that have been released beforehand and the ones that came out now, very good for early. And as a matter of fact, there is an early rush Minx version that you can run, but I haven't tried that yet. So there's like 3 different versions you can do right now. because there's like a bunch of 2, 3, and 4 drop Minks that you can use, and then you can kind of rush characters down, and then essentially your late game will be these 5 drops. So I want to try that in the future. And then the secondary one is a super mid-game Minks as well, where you rest things and then you have a bunch of extra supplementary cards to KO them. And then the one that I'm running now, which is a stall deck, and then going late game with your suppression and Dofi. So that's the weakness of this deck, guys. There's not enough early game, and because you can rest things, you think you might be able to easily, just attack and get rid of them. It's not guaranteed. It's not guaranteed. So that's it, guys. Do I think Carrot's a crazy card? It's good. I just feel like you just gotta find the right balance, and I don't know. Let me give you the breakdown of the deck list, by the way. So there are 12 utility cards. I'm counting Zoe as a utility card. There are 5 events total. There's 10 2K counters. There's 8 blockers. And then there is 11 mid-game attackers. And then 4 late games, which is the Dofis. There's 27 1K counters. 8 0K counters, which is going to be your Zoes and your Dofis. And they're going to be helpful to, just throw out with these events here. And then you have 5 trigger cards, which are these ones, and your Electrical Luna. So this is the experimental Carrot deck I am running. I want to try later doing the rushdown one that I talked about, and we'll see from there. So let me know what you guys think about this Carrot. What other cards would you add or remove for this particular strategy? And I did mention, 3 strategies total with her right now, which is the early game rushing with, with the really low cost Minks, the mid game run with heavy removal, and then the late game stall one that I'm using. Do you guys have any other sort of builds that you can see here that we can try to make a deck of? Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.